Dial H for Hero, issue 9. Sam
Oh, did you
Humphries.
not read this?
I didn't read the last one. I'm behind, which is why I didn't read this one.
Oh, because I was away on the last issue.
Mm-hmm.
I think because I had to catch up on that. That was a hell of an issue. Not necessarily in what it was, but just the core concept of you could read it in two different ways. So you could read the odd number or the even number pages in one direction, and then the odd numbered pages going back. So you would read all the way through just one side of the book, and then you'd read back going the other way, and it would tell like a complete story. It was like there were like the origins of the two essentially of Thunderbolt and Operator. But if you read them in sequential order, like just page one, then
Mm.
page two, um, they always had like the last line and then the first line would kind of be the same, and it would have this connective thread. And even though you were reading the story backwards for one of them, it still kind of made sense and worked. It was really interesting the way they actually pulled that off. So yeah, that was just something cool.
So that's why we got that really crappy issue 7. so
Yeah, yeah.
they're working this out. All right.
Like it was inventive in a way I've not seen done before, and it kind of really worked. I actually read it twice because I wanted to read it both ways.
Mm.
So that was cool. Um, but in this one, the two of them are now interns at the Daily Planet for free because they had nowhere else to go. They've got the Cyan Dial, which transforms you into your inner hero. Because we learned that there's four dials. We kind of I think peek out that far. So you got the magenta dial, which is what they were kind of dealing with before, which transforms the dial into a random hero. You got the Cyan dial, which transforms the hero into their inner hero. The yellow dial transforms dial into two heroes, and then there's the K dial, which we don't know yet. That one's kind of a mystery. So they've got the Cyan dial at the minute. There's a bit with Miguel, getting hit on by some guy who's like, "Hey, you're that Super Miguel, right?" Um, and he's like, "No, no, not really." And he gets called out like, "Hey, what did you ask me?" He's like, "No, you just wanted Super Miguel, so I'm not interested." So the clear going somewhere with that, but they're up in the planet. You've got them getting the orders wrong. He gets Lombard a chai tea, and Lombard's not happy about that, obviously. Um, but it's like not the first time they've got this wrong, or he's got it wrong specifically. But he keeps having this urge to use the dial. He's one of them now. He's kind of addicted to it. He's like, keep going. Oh, I just want to do it. This is also pointless being here doing this. We're not even getting paid, but I could be a superhero. I could be doing something. And they play, hey, you're starting to sound like Thunderbolt Club. This isn't great. But Snapper Car shows up. He's decked out a truck for them after the last time this out. It's called the Mayoverse Madness. So it's left over from some League tech that he was in their old base still, and we don't really see what it does just yet. There's a bit at the end, but right now when he introduces it, it's just like, yeah, I don't really know exactly. I just kind of built it to specs with what the operator told me, and then he takes the phone off Miguel's and phones the operator, and he's like, hey, now leave me alone. I've done it now. Piss off. Leave him to it. Miguel and operator has a talk because Miguel's been ignoring the operator for a while, because he's just in that headspace, and the operator's like, hey, no, you can't use it. If you use it, they'll know where you are. They'll find you. But he gets to it. He's there. He's like, no, everyone keeps telling me not to use it. But if I did, maybe I wouldn't have needed Superman to save me. Maybe I can help other people. Maybe I can be Superman. So he uses it, of course. And we get a new hero. This is, the inner hero that he actually is. And he is the early adopter, which is...
So he's a hipster.
I mean, you could read it that way. We get his secret origin as it is, and art style shifts again. This old kind of pulpy 40s style thing, and Scott was always the gung ho to have the swingiest tech, the newest device, the next big thing. But while our daddy-o camped out for an upcoming release, created a metaphysical tunnel between his brain and his tech. So he's like, oh, he always needs the new tech because he's always yearning for more stuff. So he tries using some of it, get a little sequence, and it's not great because they ask him, hey, so what are your powers? He's like, oh, I'll guarantee, I'll demonstrate. It's like, okay, this is the dark web, so it shoots a net to ensure any bad guys, and he shoots it, and a little blue bird comes out and tweets essentially, and he's just like, that one's still in beta, working out the kinks. So he's like, the next one is the privacy Zuckerberg. It will show, show everywhere a criminal's ever been, and it just kind of pops out some confetti, and Lombard's laughing at him. So he's like, "Oh, you're a jackass. Face the power of the unsubscribe button." And he pulls it out and points at him, and it's just a down thumb from Facebook, and it plays a kiss from a rose. So Lombard punches him, as you'd expect. And he's like, no, this is terrible. But anyway, at this point, Thunderbolt has kind of realized, he's felt that the dial's been used. So he sends off his team. And he's like, right, this is too big for just one of you to use. So I'm sending 4 of you. So 4 of them use the dial. And we get their take on the Ninja Turtles. And it cuts back to that early Ninja Turtle style comics. They all have a different name for themselves. So there's Joe, the tween-age irritable librarian gecko. Then there's Gil, so the tween-age irritable bit stands, and so does the geckos. But you've got librarian, gangster, pirate, and butcher. So there's one that's he's a gangster. He's got a big Tommy gun. You've got the pirate with a sword, swashbuckling, the butcher with a meat cleaver. And we go through their origin. And they all have their take on Cowabunga, and because they can't decide what it is, and they're all kind of amusing, and they're fine until it gets to the last one where it broke me, because the butcher comes out last who does it, and his one is Chip Zdarsky, and that just as a little joke there, just it was an extra layer that just broke me, but it's them trying to fight the early adopter, who obviously thought he was Supergirl, and that's it. But then Lolo Kick You shows back up, because that is her inner hero. She actually is that one, and saves the day. Beats all the turtles enough that they get out, and the turtles are shouting about calzones instead of pizzas, or geckos. Sorry, I should say, not turtles. But they get into the Mayo Madness van and drive off. And they're in the multiverse. So next, 4 dials on Infinite Earths. So I'm kind of into this. This is great stuff. It's been a blast again. Back on top form. Having all the multiple styles. You have the black and white geckos in the early turtle style, clashing with the other ones that are going on in the same panels. It's great stuff. This is like an 8.5.